Hello, and welcome back to Graceful Conversations, where we uncover stories that resonate with the human spirit. I am Debbie Bissoon, and today's episode promises to be truly inspiring. Joining us today is Mr. Eyon Gayle. He is the Jamaican camp supervisor at Gebbers Farm in Washington State, and his story is one of perseverance and resilience. Hello, Eyon. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, of course. Of course. Thanks for taking the time out for us to have this graceful conversation. Eyon, we have to start from the top because we were talking just now before we started rolling cameras about your journey into your profession as a farm worker, as a camp supervisor. And you were telling me that it started out with you being in the country, living there. So let's take us back to the roots of it all.
Okay, I was born in Manchester in a little district called Ballymure. Some of my family are from nearby district in Mile Valley. Most people is aware of Mile Valley more than Ballymure itself. I attended Mile Valley All Age and Homewood Technical High School. Then I went on to Eyon Art Academy, where I pursued further studies in agriculture, which the same I did at home.
Yeah, so that perseverance, coming from the country area, you would have been exposed to the farming life, and then you pursued it at an academic level as well. That helped you in making the decision to basically do it on a larger scale and also do it in another space in America.
Yes, most definitely. I always wanted to learn more, and so I always try to gain more experience, and so that is why I continue to pursue it. So I also have a career diploma in landscaping.
Really? In landscaping, you say?
Yes, in landscaping.
That is very interesting. So Eyon, we've heard many stories about Jamaicans, leaving Jamaica and finding work elsewhere. How did you navigate that? Your first time leaving your family, leaving Jamaica, everything you're used to, and now going to a foreign land to work in that space. What was that like for you?
Yes, my first time was very interesting. Traveling on the Greyhound bus from Miami, going up to Connecticut. When the bus leave us at Foxwood Casino, there was a gentleman who came to pick us up, and he went. He took us to the farm, and the boss came out and he said, "Where were you guys?" And we were shocked, because we don't control our flights or anything. And I said, "But sir," and he was like, "Don't call me sir, I'm not your daddy." So the experience was very frightening for the very first time. Anyway, he calmed down. He said, "Guys, there is food here." And this, he said, my bark is louder than my bike bites, And we did get along. The guys there that were there before us helped us. As a matter of fact, the guy who I went up with was two of us who went up past, and those guys were going up there long before us, so they really teach us the route, and we get to navigate, and it went well.
Yeah. And how was that, being in that space, and how long did you spend there for? Like for the first time? How long were you there for?
It was about February till July. So yeah. At those time, farm workers were able to go onto different farms, but because the visa kind of changed now,
right?
It's either one or the other.
Yeah. So when it comes to, reconnecting with the family, being away, what was that like in terms of staying in touch and supplying the needs of your family when they call and said, "Boy, Eyon, I'm going to need this and I'm going to need that," and you're so far away? How did you manage to really continue supplying and being a support to your family?
Yes. Well, it wasn't hard really, because we were making money more than what we were making in Jamaica. So the demand, they understand that we have just gone out there and just settling down. So the demand was not there per se, but we managed.
You managed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it very different now at Gebbers Farm, where you are now?
Yes, Gebbers Farm is very different from the East Coast, actually. Well, I should tell you, Gebbers Farm is on the West Coast. Gebbers Farm is all the way up, almost, we're 50 miles from the Canadian border.
Wow.
Yes.
That sounds cold.
It is cold. It's a temperate climate. So when it's hot, it's hot, and when it's cold, it's very cold.
Yeah. And you work alongside other nationalities as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
In 2010, we started there. Actually, the owner, he was on the East Coast when he saw some other Jamaicans working on a different farm. And he said, these guys are working very well. I need these guys here. And so we were drawn, the first 300 workers that went to Gebbers Farm were drawn from different farms. And I was one of them who was lucky enough to be there. But when we went there, it was different from what we knew because we were just working as Jamaicans alone. But when we went there was Mexican workers. And I think I can recall there are some Africans there, some guys from Somalia. I don't understand the arrangement, but I remember there was a few of them.
Wow. This is Graceful Conversations, right? And oftentimes especially when you're on a farm environment, I'm assuming, that you have to be a sense of support for your fellow brothers, especially for the new persons coming on as well.
Yes.
What is that like, getting them integrated into the system? As a supervisor, how do you go about helping them to keep in touch with Jamaica, in touch with their roots here, while trying to definitely, get acclimatized to a new space like America?
Right. I must tell you, my farm is very unique. We have a wonderful liaison officer, Mr. Sheldon Brown, there, and I think he's probably one of the only liaison officers who lives in nearby community to where the farm is. Probably on the East Coast, it's a little different that the liaison officers have to travel from distance to go to various farms. But he's there, and we have a lot of different meetings, help the new guys who come, help them to know the ropes, show them how it works there. And so it works out just fine.
Yeah.
We're one community. I mean, we have people from all different parishes, but it works.
Yeah.
You're going to have different beliefs and different frictions, but it works.
Yeah, you were sharing with me off air earlier on about having to help one of your co-workers navigate sending back money to Jamaica, and that GraceKennedy Financial was actually through the app.
Yes.
You were able to show them how they could do that.
Yes, he got a call. Probably one day a little bit before lunchtime, and he had somebody in Jamaica who was sick and needed to go to the doctor, to the hospital. But there at work, he would have probably have to leave work and miss the other part, the rest of the day. Luckily, I have the app, so I said, "No, man, you can just give me the money. I will send it from my account," and I sent it off, and it was available immediately.
Wow!
Same day. So they were able to go and pick up the money and take the person to the hospital.
So the convenience of GraceKennedy Financial
is very good.
Right.
It's very good. Sometimes you're coming, as I said before, you're coming tired. And by the time you get to cook and all of that, the store may be closed because, financial at a place like that, it has a closing time. Yes. Even if the store itself is not closed. So while you have the app, you can use it after closing time.
Yeah.
So convenient.
What kind of advice have you given them about managing their monies? Because they're there to work, and so their families are expecting them to come back home with something. What kind of advice have you given them about managing their monies?
That come in large part with from a wonderful lady named His Maraj who visit us there, and normally when she comes, she give us very good ideas of how to manage our money and how we can invest it. For me, I invested in First Global. My money is in First Global. I can send money directly um, from the app to First Global. But she's there every year. And I might add that, and the other part of what I wanted to talk about, GraceKennedy Money Services and Western Union have been very helpful to us because we have put on an annual Jamaica Day event in Brewster, Washington, where people come from as far as Seattle, 4.5 ride just to see the event. The local people, even right now, we're not there and they're calling, when is the date for the event? So since 2010, we have been getting the support there tremendously from GraceKennedy Group. She have brought Grace Foods, sorts of items that we can't, easily have access to. We brought them there. We combine it, and it's a part of the menu there, like the seasoning and stuff, the jerk seasoning, and so we have wonderful Jamaica Day event there where people from farm where come, and the funds, we raise the funds, and the funds we give back to less fortunate people in Jamaica.
Yeah. You were telling us as well about those charities. Can you mention a few of those, please?
We did the first charity after Jamaica 50 event in 2012. So how that started, actually, we wanted to have our own celebration in Bruce. Jamaica 50 was a very big thing. And so we kind of feel left out being so far.
Yeah.
So we decided we can have our own thing. We have talented guys who can play music. We have people who can set up stage. We have people who can cook. We have people who can can design the backdrop, everything. So we did that. And then we said, how is it that, what are we going to do with the funds? We come together, we decide that we're going to give back to the less fortunate. So the following year, I think in February, I think on the 13th of February 2013, I think it was, we gave back to the Golden Age Home in Kingston.
That's incredible. That's incredible work there.
Golden Age. And following after that, we have helped with the aesthetics of the ministry, where we were recruiting from, helped to put in a gazebo there. After that, we went to Hanbury Children's Home. And from that, we started now with high school students. There are high school students who are doing agricultural science, but these students are brilliant, but some of them have difficulties going to school. Some of these students, they are not on the PATH program. I don't understand. I don't know how they do that, but we have students going to school Monday to Wednesday and don't go there the following. Yet still, those students are those who are matriculating at the top of their classes.
Yeah.
So we decided that the agricultural students from, parishes that we haven't reached out yet. So we started, we went to St. Thomas and we find some students, who have trouble, and we have given them funds, 50,000 each per student at the time.
Wow, that is commendable. That's how you add purpose to a passion, really.
Yes.
Really, you've add meaningful purpose to a passion of yours, and really, I'm sure ignite interest in the field of agriculture with these kids as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I must add that with the help of GraceKennedy again, because they have been one of the major sponsors, apart from Gebbers Farm sponsoring us, a radio station, or the Chamber of Commerce in Worcester sponsoring us. GraceKennedy have come in and play a very vital role.
Yeah.
They have come in, we have raffles, and I must tell you, the community people look forward to when GraceKennedy come in, because they want the TV, they want the nice handbags, they want all the nice things that Mrs. Hazel Mirage is purchasing, and they want to win it, and it has been very good.
And I think...
And let me just thank GraceKennedy for their
Please
support.
go ahead. Yes.
Let me thank them, because without them, we couldn't be doing this. And even last year, when we were doing, we did 20 students from some St. Catherine high schools, mostly rural schools in St. Catherine. And I must tell you, in May of last year, on a very short notice, I have called Mrs. Mirage, even though she's overseas, and she have called her local people here. And in short notice, they have prepared 20 baskets for those students.
Wow.
You know, and join with the funds that we have given to them.
Well, that's what Grace does, right?
Yeah.
It inspires, it gives back, of course, and it makes sure that, as human beings, we're connecting in the best way, right?
Yes.
Aligning with the needs of the people. That's what GraceKennedy is all about.
Right.
Your experience, it says perseverance, it says resilience. For people out there who are trying to just live life in this country, trying to find spaces where they can take their skills.
Yes.
What advice would you give them?
Do not stop. Persevere. Continue to persevere. I'm not finished where I'm at. I wanted to learn more. And it's so hard that when I start working in the warehouse at Gebbers Farm, I realized that most of the things were mechanized. So I have to adapt and trying to. So I would say to people who are, even especially the students who are in agriculture, don't see it as a man going up there to chop cane, and all of that thing is in the past. Agriculture is so advanced. We have now driverless tractors. You didn't know that.
With technology.
We have drones spraying fields. So the technology is much more advanced. So I would say ensure that you get the good grounding, proper education, and computer science is very important. Because as I said, agriculture is moving in a direction, and if we don't catch up, we're going to be left behind.
Wow. Thank you. Much to consider.
Yes.
Mr. Gayle, thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your story, and thank you for joining us for Graceful Conversations.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. And that is it. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Graceful Conversations. Join us next time when we'll have another inspiring story. And we here at GraceKennedy Financial Group encourage you to continue living a graceful life.